He's the founder and the chairman of the Faith and Freedom Coalition. Ralph Reed is here. Guys, good to see you all.
Good to be with you.
All right, I'm not going to let Beckles start. All right?
What else is new?
No, okay, but wait. But here, what was the trial balloon this weekend about the public option? What's your take on it? And what do you think of the reaction? 100 congressmen on the left say no way. Right. Howard Dean says no way. Trial balloon pulled away. How do you analyze it?
Sean, they're trying to salvage a total disaster. I mean, this has been really a comedy of errors for the Obama White House. An operation, by the way, that going into this
highly disciplined.
Absolutely. Yeah. Gold-plated, professional, disciplined, on message.
Right.
They made a series of miscalculations. First of all, Obama outsourced the policy to Waxman, Pelosi, Reid, Kennedy, Dodd. Second thing he did was he set artificial deadlines that couldn't be met, that made him look weak when they weren't. So he said, I got to have a bill by the August recess. That bombed. Right. Sean, let me tell you how weak a position he's in. He is now caving on one of the central tenets of his major domestic policy initiative, waving the white flag of surrender, not to get a single Republican vote. This is to try to keep his own party together.
Yeah, I think there's truth to that, but I'm a little more cynical than you because I think
I can't imagine that.
Well, no. I think that I think the cooperative plan is basically the same thing with a new packaging.
Oh,
I don't think this is still going to be government-run health care.
They will try.
Can I say one thing?
Right.
You mind if the liberal side of this panel says something for a second? First of all, waving the white flag of surrender, that's something new. Hannity used that one 5 years ago on the war against me. But look, let me explain something to you.
You got very angry that night.
I did get very angry, but I'm not going to be tonight. You know why? Because I'm in a good mood. I'm still trying to figure out what Greta was talking about 6 months, but that's all right. Look, the fact of the matter is, at this very desk 2 months ago, I told you that we were going to end up with cooperatives. Cooperatives were started in 1929. A lot of them worked very well. They are not going to be some cover for some public plan. And here's where you're both dead wrong. There is going to be a health bill passed. The Democrats cannot afford not to have it passed. And here's my secret for you tonight. It's going to include tort reform. And the Republicans are not going to be able to sit back and be against it. And I will repeat, Barack Obama is the greatest president since Franklin Roosevelt.
You're out of your mind.
I know you keep saying that, but I think I'll say it.
The problem with government-run health care is not just the public option. It's government control over the means, the services, the pricing, and the supply. And that's where we get into the specificity of whatever this final bill is going to be. If they control that, that's government-run health care.
This isn't about a government-control health care system in the whole thing. It's about providing an option for the people who have no means of health care at the current time. And I think the bill is absolutely not dead. And Nancy Pelosi came out again today saying that she is in firm support of having a public option, and Howard Dean and many other
the problem. If the government says, for example, if they're going to manage this, who's covered, who's not covered, who gets to charge what, and who gets to get what care, it's still government-run.
Look, a co-op, Sean, the co-op they're talking about is going to be heavily subsidized by the federal government.
Exactly.
They're talking about an initial subsidy of $3 billion. You know that that's just the tip of the iceberg. They're always wrong on their projections, so this thing is going to be multiples of that. And here's the other thing. Remember that the public option, the government-run plan, now masquerading as a co-op, is going to set rates below market rates. It'll be subsidized with your and my tax dollars, and you know what that's going to do? That's going to lead to substandard care across the board, and it's going to be a major problem.
For a second. You guys have both been the right-wing la-la land lately, obviously. Now, the only way, town hall means that we're organized. Wait a second. Can I say something here for a second? Thank you very much. You are trying, like it was the last time you defeated health care reform, which was an important thing, and a lot of people have lost their health insurance and died since then, I might add, is you're trying to make it into a government run. There's nothing government run by portability. There's nothing wrong, is there? If you lose your insurance, they can't keep you out because of pre-existing conditions.
I don't have a problem with changing
none of those things. And that's exactly what's in this bill. What you're doing is you support these big, bad insurance companies that drop people from the rolls and let people die.
These are the latest talking points. But you know what, Bob?
I don't use talking points.
Isabel.
Yes.
This is the same government that can't run cash for clunkers. This is the same government that bankrupted the Social Security and Medicare. The public option is going to destroy, even by the CBO estimate, will destroy private insurance. And wait a minute, the CBO says tens of millions of people will be forced into the government system.
This is about making it more competitive and much more cost efficient. And
how is it more competitive if the CBO analyzes it and says it's going to force people into the system?
Wouldn't it be terrible if the private insurance companies went bankrupt? It would be a real shame. We'd finally get rid of some really bad actors.
You hate banks, you hate insurance companies.
No, but what I'm saying is that the federal government is not going to end up running people's health care. You want everybody to believe that because your talking points, speaking speaking of which, from your pal Frank Luntz, who sold them to everybody in Capitol Hill. Here's what you say: the government's going to take it over, and there's going to be death panels, and you're all going to have.
Let Isabel get a last word in here.
Yeah, I would totally agree. It's not about the government taking over at all. It's about providing an option, and whether that be through government-subsidized means for people who have absolutely no access to care now.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Why do you have so much faith in the government when they can't run cash for clunkers?
I think there's a lot of success happening.
There's a lot of success happening in cash for clunkers. By the way, can we make this announcement? There are 2 liberals on this panel tonight. Did you notice this, everybody? 2. It's usually 3 to 1.
The success that's happening is this: a failed stimulus plan that, when it was passed, Obama said would lead to 4 million new jobs.
How do you know it's failed?
Since they passed it, we've lost 2.5 million jobs.
And he said unemployment wouldn't go above 8%.
2.5 million
by his
jobs.
own. We got a break. More with our great American panel coming up straight ahead. And we continue now with our great American panel. All right, we know Congressman David Scott. He's from Atlanta, and one of the few Democrats actually didn't run away from his constituents, and said this about me and Fox News.
I watch Fox News. I go on Fox News every time they invite me to go on. There are people there that have a difference. You got Warren Williams on Fox News. That makes a lot of sense. Now, Sean Hannity, let me tell you about Sean Hannity. I was with Sean. You got to realize, Sean Hannity started right here in Atlanta, right on GST. I was on his show. I've been on all of their shows.
And he's invited back every time. At least he's one congressman that didn't go into hiding because he's afraid to be confronted by constituents.
Sean, this was the biggest miscalculation of all. To go out and take grassroots citizens, seniors, young people, stay-at-home moms like your earlier guest, who are concerned about loved ones being denied care. They're concerned about $500 billion in unspecified Medicare cuts. They show up at the meetings, and what happened? They were called evil. They were called un-American. They were accused of being potential Nazis. They smeared them. And let me tell you something. This is America. There are people who paid the ultimate price and bore the ultimate burden that we could speak out freely, and that was a huge mistake politically.
Can I stand up and do the Pledge of Allegiance now? First of all, the first time a Democrat gets on this air, somebody who says something nice about you, I say something nice about you, I'm on here. I'd give Scott credit for saying something nice about you, but do not go back to the Democratic caucus if I were you. Look, the fact of the matter is you guys have tested this thing. These meetings have been organized. I used to do it. Ralph, you used to do it, and you know it as well as I do. These people have a right to speak out.
Do you think that Katie, you met her tonight?
Yes.
Do you think she was organized, or do you think she's a stay-at-home mom who cares?
How do you think she found out about the meeting with Specter?
Because everybody, that's well known.
I went to one in Towson, Maryland.
Do you think she's a mobster?
No, I don't think she's a mobster. She's a very nice lady. I talked to her. She's very nice. I don't think you're a mobster. And once in a while, you're a nice guy. But the point is that these people walked around the meeting that I went to with little talking points from some right-wing group to make their points. That's fine.
All right, USA Today, and I pulled the poll out earlier. You know what? The American people don't have faith in Obama anymore. It's nearly 60% say, you know what? The stimulus isn't working. He promised that if we passed the stimulus, that unemployment wouldn't go above 8%. Now the American people are saying they don't trust him. They don't believe him.
I think it's absolutely too soon to know whether the stimulus plan is or isn't working. And the truth is our economy was in a tailspin. And the Fed recently...
But we're using his standard. He said it wouldn't go above 8% unemployment if we passed it. He said if we do pass it, if we don't pass it, it'll go to 9%. Now it's 9.5%.
You know, the president was dealt a really rough hand of cards, and that stimulus plan was absolutely necessary.
Sean thinks, by the way, your book, Hancock Park, is terrific, and everybody ought to buy it. Sean thinks that when the Allies landed on Normandy, that the Germans should have surrendered the next day. He's absolutely shocked it went on for a couple more years. The point is,
when my president says unemployment won't go above 8% if we spend $1 trillion, I kind of believe him, Bob.
He got his number from the budget office from the Bushes.
Here's the problem. 72% of the American people now say that the remainder of the stimulus money, which has not yet been spent, which, by the way, is 89% of it, ought to just be sent directly to the taxpayers. Here's the problem for Obama. That was the Republican alternative that they defeated. So in 2010, when the American people vote, there's going to be 2 alternatives. One is give the money back to the taxpayers, and the other is waste it on fraud and boondoggles.
74% of the American people think the Republicans should never control Congress for the next 2 decades. They think that there's 78% of them who think that conservatives, yes, a lot of them are conservatives, but they think the conservatives have been captured by right-wingers, and they're right. You're right. Conservatives, come with us. We'll take you. We're open to you.
Chris Dodd is going to lose. Harry Reid's approval ratings are in the 30s.
I bet you 1,000 each one of these. Go ahead.
done. Okay, Harry Reid, Chris Dodd. Bob McDonnell's going to be the new governor of Virginia.
All right, I'll bet you 500 on that.
John Corsine's going to lose in November.
That one I'll give you an even better.
Governor Patterson's out in New York. He's done.
He's not. No Republican's going to win the state of New York.
Rudy Giuliani can beat him tomorrow.
No, we have a $3,500 bets now, right?
You're done.
Okay, good. Let's
money to charity.
Of course, the money goes to charity because gambling's illegal.
By the way, Bob's right. Congrats on the book.
Thank you. You know, I think the Fed recently released a statement saying that the economy is leveling out, and we were in a tailspin. And Obama was given such a difficult hand of cards, and there's no way to know.
Greatest economic president since Franklin Roosevelt.
There's no way to know whether the stimulus is going to
Jimmy Carter.
Since Jimmy Carter, exactly. All right, guys, good panel tonight. Thank you. That is all the time we have left this evening. As always, thank you for being with us.